各位记者朋友，下午好。湖北省新冠肺炎疫情防
Dear
控工
friends
作
from
指
the
挥部
media, good
今天召
afternoon.
开第89场新闻发布会，
The Hubei
介绍
Provincial
科
Government
技
is
助力
hosting
疫
the
情防控
89th
与
press
服务
conference
经济
this
社会发
afternoon.
展情况。
We're going to
参
elaborate
加今天发布
on
会的
how
有
science and technology
湖北省
have
科
been
技厅副厅
facilitating
长
our prevention
吴
and
林章先
control.
生，
Attendees to this press conference
武汉生物制
includes
品研究所项目负责人
Mr. Wu Linzhang,
段
Deputy
凯
Director
先生，
General of Hubei Provincial
武汉华
Department of
大医
Science
学
and Technology,
检验所
and
项目
Dr.
负责
Duan
人
Kai,
周
Head
瑞
of
先生，
Wuhan Institute of Biological
湖北省
Products,
疾病预防
and
控制中心副
Dr.
主
Zhou
任
Rui,
李
Head
阳
of
先
the
生。
BGI Testing Institute
下
in
面
Wuhan, and
请
Mr.
李阳
Li
先
Liang,
生通报
DGG,
全省新冠
Deputy
肺炎
Director
疫情
General of
最新
Hubei
情况。
CGC. May I first give the floor
截至
to Li Yang for him
2020
to
年
give you
4
the
月
update.
29日
As of
24时，
the
湖
end
北
of
省累计报告
yesterday,
新冠肺炎确诊
Hubei
病例68128例，其中武汉
had
市
a total of
5,333
68,128 confirmed
其他市
cases,
州
among which
17333
50,333 are from
2020
Wuhan.
年4月29日0时至24时，
For
湖北
yesterday,
省新增新冠肺炎确诊病例0例，
Hubei
境外输入
registered
病例，
no new
全省
confirmed
连续
cases, and there is
26日
no
无新增
imported cases from overseas. And for 26 consecutive days, there has been no confirmed cases. And for other parts, in addition to Wuhan, the record has been maintained for 52 consecutive days. As of
有疑似病例
yesterday, there is no confirmed cases existing, and the total deaths in the province reached 4,512, and total cured amounted to 63,616. Yesterday, there were 26 asymptomatic cases, and 0 of them have been confirmed. And we still have 623 patients or cases under medical observation. And now let's give the floor to Mr. Wu, and for him to give you a update. The most powerful weapon fighting disease is science and technology. Since the outbreak, we have immediately set up a science and technology team. We identified the situation and analyzed the epidemic. We focused on the development of vaccines, technology in testing and development of products and clinical trials. We have coordinated the best technology pieces in this fight so as to ensure the smooth efforts of the government, and the Provincial Department of Science and Technology has played an important role. We followed through the guidelines made by the province and summarized all the different requirements. We focused on what is the priority, and we also combined professional teams with professional experts. And we adhered to the combination of Western and traditional Chinese medicine, and the Ministry of Science and Technology has launched an emergent scientific research project, and the Hubei Provincial Department of Science and Technology is the executor of this important drive. We have engaged in the following 6 areas of effort. The first is to redevelop some of the existing medicines. Given the epidemic, we followed the principle of redeveloping existing drugs. We set up a team to conduct trial testing over 7 different drugs. And 4 of these drugs have been included in the treatment protocol, the second version as well as the 6th version at the national level. And what's worth noting is that in order to promote the integrated use of Chinese and Western medicine, the experts in the province have carried out a number of research and trackings, and we have come up with 3 different prescriptions using traditional Chinese medicine. While focusing on treatment and the recovery, and this traditional Chinese medicine played a very effective role. And second, we conducted research in clinical trials and we spread some of the best practice. At the very beginning, there was a very low recovery rate. A number of discoveries were conducted. Some of the researches turned to be very effective, and we helped to come up with the 5th and 6th version of the national treatment protocol. We also supported the research on treatment using stem cells. This has become one of the 4 stem cell projects recognized by the national authority. And we also supported Professor Liu Liang's research on autopsy of patients died of the disease. The autopsy has helped to better understand the disease and significantly helped to improve the recovery rate and to reduce the mortality rate. And we also supported some of the testing technologies and supported those teams conducting those efforts. We did our very best to guarantee quality and also to ensure supply, and the overall capacity in testing has been dramatically improved. We supported such enterprises as Ningde Bionics as well as the BGI to quickly obtain some national level approvals. At present, our province has a capacity of delivering 550,000 test kits every day, and we also have a capacity of delivering 400,000 test tubes. And we supported 9 products to obtain the market access to the EU, and 2 of the products of BGI have been approved by the FDA in the United States, and right now we are supporting more commodities and products to play a more powerful role in helping the world to conquer the disease. The next effort is that we have helped some of the enterprises in their reorganization and to redevelop their technological roadmap. And on January the 20th, we supported the Wuhan Institute of Biological Products and also some of the branch organizations under the Chinese Academy of Sciences. Some of the vaccines have entered clinical trials, and on April the 20th, the vaccine developed by our province has become the first to be approved for clinical trials at the national level, and this vaccine has also kicked into the clinical trial period. Technological development in this province has been playing a very important role in supporting our fight, and we have put in place a phased diagnosis, and we developed 7 small assistant technologies which have eased the pressure from the front line, reduced the risk of infection, and laid a solid foundation for effective control and contain over the disease. These products and systems, they have been tested in Union Hospital, in the People's Hospital, in Huoshenshan and Leishanshan Hospital, and many other designated hospitals, and they have also been recognized by the Shanghai Municipal Committee of Technology and Beijing Municipal Committee of Technology, and they have become a very important support to our fight against the COVID-19, and some of the products have been widely applied in the designated hospitals, and they have improved the targeted efforts at some of the isolation and hospitals, isolation sites and hospitals, and we also supported the reopening of enterprises. And since the outbreak, we have been preventing and controlling the disease while promoting the reopening of enterprises, and we try to win a comprehensive war against the COVID-19. And we have also been focusing on livelihood and on economic recovery, and science and technology have laid a solid foundation for the reopening of the enterprises. And according to the provincial requirements, we have aligned our efforts with some of the initiatives and campaigns at the provincial and the national level. We have coordinated many different resources and formulated a number of notices and work plans on promoting the resumption of industrial operations. Now the floor is open for questions, and before you ask the question, please introduce yourself.
大家好，湖北日报记者提问。我们知
I'm
道
with
现
the
在已
Hubei
经
Daily.
疫情防控常态化阶段。
So now we are entering a stage of routine prevention and control. Everybody is concerned about the development of vaccines, and we know that from the very beginning you have been supporting some of the enterprises in developing some vaccines. So we have also read some of the reports that some vaccines have entered into the stage of clinical trials. And may I get to know more of the details? Thank you very much for your question. On January the 20th, the Hubei Provincial Department of Science and Technology have entrusted some of the enterprises to develop vaccines. Huazhong University of Medicine and Huazhong University of Technology, they have immediately engaged in some emergent research and developments, and these efforts has also been supported by the national authority. And we need to conduct a lot of animal tests, and to put it in general, you have to go through 3 stages of tests. And the inactivated vaccine developed by our province is a result of months of research and developments, and it has gone through already a couple of stages, and we are able to condense, deactivate, and also wipe out the vaccine, wipe out the disease. And we have already singled out a couple of candidate vaccines, and now we have entered into the clinical trial period. And on April the 12th, as approved by the National Administration of Food and Drugs, we have obtained the approval, and we conducted clinical trials on human bodies. And right now, while promoting with the research, the Wuhan Institute of Biological Products is making some preparations. And the Wuhan Biological Laboratory is very important, and we have already completed the planning for this laboratory, and right now the laboratory is well under construction. And the fight between human beings and disease is a enduring one, and Wuhan Institute of Biological Products will follow with some of the laws and accelerate the pace of our development so as to allow the vaccines to play a more important role so that we can safeguard the health of the population. Thank you. Next question, please.
你好，我是长江商报记者。新冠肺炎疫情
I'm with
发生以来
Yangtze River
一直大力支持
Business
科技生
Daily,
产
and since the outbreak, the Wuhan government has supported some of the enterprises to be involved in the fight against COVID-19. And what has BGI done in this aspect? Nucleic acid test is very important in diagnosing the disease. It's also the very first step in our fight against COVID-19, and it's very important. In this very important fight, under the leadership of the provincial government, the BGI has actively engaged in this very important battle because we have an experience of 20 years. We have advantages in markets, in research, as well as development. We have deeply engaged in this effort, and we join hands with scholars and researchers and scientists focusing on the goal of quick diagnosis. And at the very beginning, we have organized a number of emergent and very rapid technological researches. And for BGI, we have come up with a lot of testing kits. And the BGI employees during the epidemic have been working around the clock, and we completed the research and development of the products, which laid a solid foundation for the early shipments of those products. And we also accelerated the commercialization of these technologies, and two of our test kits have won the approval of the national authority, and they were applied immediately into the battle against COVID-19. And we were able to abstract the nucleic acid, and we were able to identify COVID-19 patients in first place. And today's day we have produced test kits for thousands of people, and this laid the solid foundation for the fight against COVID-19 in Hubei, and laid the foundation for the resumption of industrial operations. Second, we adhered to the principle of innovation, and according to the guidelines made by of the provincial governments, we adhered to the principle of innovation, and we worked together with Donghu high-tech zone and set up the first Fire Eye laboratory. And this laboratory is using some of the latest solutions provided by BGI, and this includes some of the testing equipments, testing kits, and testing personnel. The Fire Eye laboratory has significantly improved the supply of test kits to the level of 20,000 per day, and we provided a strong technological guarantee to our fight against COVID-19. And today's day, the laboratory has completed acid tests for 700,000 people, and today's day we have also screened over 300,000 samples for people in Wuhan. And third, we transformed the risk into opportunities. And since the outbreak, under the leadership of the provincial government, we have participated in a lot of the meetings with the Provincial Department of Science and Technology and Drugs, the Health Commission, as well as the Wuhan Customs Office. And the government has helped us to troubleshoot the difficulties we met in many different links, and this laid a solid foundation for the early delivery of our products on the market. The BGI products is among the first to be approved by OEA and PMDA in Japan, and so our test kits have also been approved by CEICD and TE licenses from EU and Australia respectively. And right now the test kits produced by BGI have been shipped to more than 80 countries and regions, and the international orders of the BGI has amounted to more than 10 million pieces, and we are also donating test kits to 19 countries and regions. The Fire Eye laboratory is providing a comprehensive set of solutions to the world, thanks to its very fast speed of establishment, also its very rapid capacity in testing and diagnosis. And already we are building more than 40 such laboratories in 19 countries.
中新社记者提问：科技创新是
And with China News Agency,
请问
innovation is a very important drive, and as the authority for technological innovation, what are the measures that the Provincial Department of Science and Technology will take after the epidemic? Thank you very much for your question. Hubei Provincial Government and Party Committee of Hubei will follow through the guidelines made by President Xi Jinping since the outbreak, and we immediately formulated a number of policies since the outbreak, and we are able to resume business and industrial operations, and the Ministry of Science and Technology have released the measures on promoting business and industrial operations. As the epicenter of this disease, our province was the hardest hit, and we have measures to promote the quick recovery of the economy and to promote the immediate resumption of business operations. And to that end, we have promulgated a number of policies, and we decide to engage in the following measures. Now, first, we're going to focus on the recovery of tech companies. We know that there is the difficulty in talents, capital, logistics, confronting some of the technology companies. And in light of this, the Provincial Department of Science and Technology is providing more conditions and preferential environment for those enterprises. Number one, we're going to obtain the fund support from the national government. And second, we're going to coordinate the provincial level of innovation fund. And we're going to focus on key areas that can play an important radiation effect. We're also going to organize many different channels to help these SMEs to get over this difficulty. We will also work together with financial institutions to solve the financial problems of enterprises. According to such a work arrangement, and in recent weeks, we're going to focus mainly on the following work areas. Number one, we will align our efforts with the Ministry of Science and Technology, and in this aspect, we will obtain a special fund worth of 60 million yuan, and this will help incubate some of the new business farms and technologies, and within a very short period of time, this will generate also a lot of jobs and generates a lot of economic benefits, and this will help promote the economic recovery. And right now we are screening some of the programs, and we are selecting those programs. And second, we are going to respond to the initiatives of the Ministry of Science and Technology, and following with the principle of for every city there will be a project, and for every industrial park there will be a theme. And we are going to build Wuhan into a national demonstration center for science and technology parks. And in the fields of biomedicine, we're going to very quickly test some of the new products so as to cultivate a new growth point for economy. And this will also help some of these small enterprises to get over their difficulties. And in the meantime, we're going to help some of the incubating companies in that we're going to reduce their rents, and already we have reduced the rents worth of 90 million, and we have helped thousands of enterprises to resume their industrial operations. And we also help enterprises to liaise with upstream and downstream enterprises, and we have a special fund for college graduates who start their own businesses, and our fund support also go to incubators and other SMEs to expand the financing channels for SMEs. And on April the 23rd, we put out a salon, and we have attracted some very large banks, and in general 40 central level enterprises to attend this fair, and we have reached 4 business intents, and we are also working together with some of the banks and financial institutions to come up with some of the financing products. And already we have served 31 enterprises with the total financing amount of more than 10 million. And we help tech companies to with a better insurance services. And during the epidemic, we have released a total of 4 billion worth of insurance-based loans.
你好，我是农村新报的记者。就今年2月份，我们新冠疫情蔓延的时候，我省开。
In February this year, when the disease was spreading in the province, vaccine development in the province made great achievements. And may I know more information about the effects of plasma treatment? Thank you very much for your question. The treatment using plasma is basically to collect plasma from those who are recovered, and after some treatment, we're going to re-inject this plasma into the body of those patients. And this treatment method traces back to 100 years ago, and this is also one of the commonly used methods. And in the SARS epidemic, and in H1N1, and in the Ebola epidemic, and this method has been used very widely, and it has been shown that the plasma can play a very effective role for those patients who are suffering from severe and critical conditions. Through deactivation and multiple testing, then the plasma can be further made into a product and to be injected into the body of patients. And since the outbreak, we have set up a number of research teams which have engaged in some of the researches. And starting from February the 8th, we have applied this method on people with severe and critical conditions. And because of the very effective results, the National Health Commission has released the treatment standards of this method, and it has also spread this treatment nationwide. And already this method has helped more than 70,000 people. And this method has also gone to other countries. Thank you. I'm with China Daily. Science projects have always been the topic of the society, and may I know that at this point of time, are there any new considerations on promoting the business resumption of tech companies? Thank you very much. The Hubei Provincial Science projects are a very important driver to promote social and economic development. And after the epidemic, and in order to further grow and recover our economy for this year, we have reformed some of the projects, and this mainly includes three aspects. First, we're going to focus on targets as well as the strategic goals. And after the reform of the plan, our initiative will cover some provincial projects and some key programs. The key programs will be aligned with the strategic goals of the provincial level of government in terms of 5G communications as well as biomedicine. And these special programs will help some of the enterprises to accelerate their development, and key investment will go to digital technology and emergent treatment plans. And for this year, we are going to launch 100 digital economy projects so as to promote the big infrastructure projects after the pandemic. And in the meantime, we're going to improve the technologies in science, in health, and also in infrastructure so as to consolidate the victory of this very important fight. And given some of for the difficulties confronting the science enterprises, and we're going to mobilize resources from the society to find the best solutions. And the science development programs and initiatives have been released on our website, and we hope that the enterprises can submit your application so that we can jointly improve social and economic development. Second, we are going to highlight the enterprises as the main players of innovation. And in the drafting of the provincial development plan for science and technology, we're going to allow entrepreneurs and enterprises to play a leading role. And the guideline that we formulated will reflect the needs of entrepreneurs as well as enterprises. And when we are screening the projects, the experts, the review experts, they will come from the industry. And when we are looking at the programs, and we will encourage the enterprises to play a leading role. And for whatever technology you come up with, it has to be commercially viable, and there has to be a user of this technology. So we hope that the enterprise, they can become the investor, the player that commercializes the products, and also the enterprise that benefits from the application of the technology. And we also try to improve a mechanism that facilitates the commercialization of major scientific and technological discoveries. The third aspect is to improve the efficiency of some of these projects. And we're going to simplify the approval processes by putting in place paperless procedures. So a lot of the applications will be handled in a digital manner. We're also going to innovate the way of management and service. And this will allow the entrepreneurs to play a more effective role in deciding the use of the fund. And this will also help the government to provide even greater financial support to the enterprises. And we are also going to bring in scholars and experts from universities to support these enterprises. Thank you very much to all the journalists. And this is the end of today's release. Thank you very much.